Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films, back again with Sherlock. Last time on Sherlock, we had a study in pink. So, we were introduced to Sherlock Holmes and Dr. John Watson, and how the two of them met through very interesting circumstances, and the first case that they took on together, which was pretty interesting. We were also introduced to Mycroft, the brother of Sherlock Holmes, and they kind of faked us out a little bit, making you think, oh, maybe this guy's Moriarty, but he's not. However, after the whole case went down, we did learn that the serial killer of the episode was sponsored by someone that goes by the name of Moriarty. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. This time around, I am prepared. I have already eaten my lunch, and I have figured out the correct amount of time to watch this episode. So I'm all prepared to watch this episode of Sherlock, unlike last time, where I was not prepared. If you haven't watched my reaction to the first episode, it is kind of funny just because I was not prepared. I had to pause in the middle of it and go get a snack. But this time, I am prepared. Because this is, these episodes are so long, I'll probably be leaning back in this chair at some point. But yeah. With that all being said, we might as well get right into this episode of Sherlock. Here we go.
The great artisans say, the more the teapot is used, the more beautiful it becomes.
Okay.
The pot is seasoned by repeatedly pouring tea over the surface.
Okay.
The deposit left on the clay creates this beautiful patina over time.
Oh, interesting.
Some things aren't supposed to sit behind glass.
They're
made to be touched,
Villain.
to be handled.
She looks familiar.
Is that security?
Uh-oh. No, she's the victim, not the murderer. But what? Oh, man. What was that?
Unexpected item in bagging area. Please try again.
Whoa! Whoa, what the, on earth? Well, you can't just cut to that.
Item not scanned. Please try again.
You can keep your voice down.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same way with self-checkouts.
If you'd be able to lend me some... Sherlock, you listening? I need to go to the bank.
Tuh. Man, he already knows that it's the bank.
2 trips a month, flying all the way around the world. You're quite right. How could you tell? You gonna tell me there was a stain on my tie from some special kind of ketchup you can only buy in Manhattan?
No,
It was the mud on my shoes.
I was just chatting with your secretary outside. She told me.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just the simple approach.
There's a hole in our security. Find it and we'll pay you. 5 figures.
Wow.
This is in advance. Tell me how you got in. There's a bigger one on its way.
I don't need an incentive, Sebastian.
Well, take the money anyway.
He's kidding you, obviously. Shall I look after that for him?
Tuh. Yeah, Watson will take the money. Oh, could someone have gotten through the window, maybe? Maybe not. Yeah, it's too high up. What is he standing on?
No, well, I've just moved in.
Actually,
Brilliant.
I've just locked my keys in my flat.
You want me to buzz you in?
Yeah, and can I use your balcony?
What?
Can I use your balcony? Oh, he's good at that. These detectives, they always have to be good at, faking something over a speaker. Him, L. Jessica Jones. Oh, he climbed up into that apartment. Or flat, as y'all call it.
Yeah, anytime you feel like letting me in.
Tuh. Ah. Well then.
Ah, Sergeant. The old Ned.
Yeah, I know who you are, and I'd prefer it if you didn't tamper with any of the evidence.
Come on, Sergeant.
I phoned Lestrade. Is he on his way?
He's busy. I'm in charge.
Oh,
And it's
joy.
not, Sergeant. It's like...
The wound's on the right side of his head.
And?
Bancoon was left-handed. Requires quite a bit of contortion.
Left-handed?
Wait for you to get the ballistics report. Bullet in his brain wasn't fired from his gun, I guarantee it.
But if his door was locked from the inside, how did the killer get in?
Good.
Balcony.
You're finally asking the right questions.
Yeah.
Might be a bit mundane for you.
No, mundane is good sometimes. Mundane works.
Oh, is it gonna be a...
Says here you're a soldier.
And a doctor.
Yeah, mainly doctor.
Anything else you can do?
Learned clarinet at school.
Oh, I look forward to it.
Is he gonna be a pediatrician now?
Climbed up the side of the walls.
Ran along the roof. Dropped in through this skylight.
You're not serious. Like Spider-Man.
He scaled 6 floors of a Docklands apartment building, jumped the balcony to kill Bancoon.
Oh, hold on.
And of course, that's how he got into the bank. He ran along the window ledge and onto the
Huh.
terrace.
Yeah, but how, man?
Modern code-breaking methods won't unravel it.
Where are we headed?
The
I need to ask some
museum.
advice.
What? Sorry?
You heard me perfectly. I'm not saying it again.
You need advice.
On painting, yes. I need to talk to an expert.
He doesn't know everything. Again, I like that. He has limits.
We'll ask around.
Somebody must know something about it.
John, run!
What the hell do you think you're doing? This gallery is a listed public building.
No, wait. It's not me who painted that. I was just holding this for...
Uh-oh.
Scotland Yard.
Oh no, is someone gonna go after John?
What if one of them was like Fingon?
How do you mean?
Stole something. Something from the hoard.
The killer doesn't know which of them took it, so
Oh.
he threatens them both. Right?
Could be that.
Remind me. When was the last time that it rained?
Yeah, we just started eating.
Can you not keep doing this, please?
Man, you're gonna have to start following him.
He's still here.
Oh god. Ah!
Anytime you want to include me.
Oh, come on, John.
Sulinyao. We have to find him.
How exactly?
Andy.
We could start with this.
You've got all croaky. You're getting a cold.
Fine.
Friggin' Watson.
Tuesday morning, all you've got to do is turn up and say the bag was yours.
Forget about your court date.
There's the paint. Whoa! There's a ton of symbols. What the?
Paint it over.
That
I
fast?
don't understand. It was...
Can you remember it?
Yes,
Can
definitely.
you remember the pattern?
Yes.
How much can you remember it?
Well, don't worry.
Because the average human memory on visual matters is only 62% accurate.
Yeah, well, don't worry.
Yeah.
I remember all of it.
Really?
Yeah, well, at least I would if I can get to my pockets.
He took a picture.
Photograph.
That makes sense. Good job. That was funny though, just spinning him around.
Yesterday, only one of those pots was shining. Now there are 2.
So someone is still coming in and working on them.
It's a Chinese number 1.
And this one is 15. But what's the code?
All the smugglers know it. It's based upon a book.
What book? Tell me.
He's here.
Oh god.
Did you?
Some of those skulls are over 200,000 years old. Have a bit of respect.
Tuh. Yeah.
Thank you.
That actually worked. Wait. Watson. No. Oh no. Aww. Ah, on the heel.
Now, Van Koon.
So it is just on the heel.
Oh.
I thought hers was on her ankle.
So either these two men just happened to visit the same Chinese tattoo parlor, or I'm telling the truth.
Tuh.
The first word you read. Okay, so what's the message? Depends on the book.
Yeah.
That's the cunning of book code. Has to be one that they both own.
Okay. This won't take a while.
Anything else I can do? To assist you, you mean?
Some silence right now would be marvelous.
Tuh. At least this guy wants to help. He's a lot better than Lestrade.
He hasn't buzzed the intercom for ages. Let me go and have a word. Excuse me. Sorry. John?
Oh. John was late for work and now he's...
John?
He probably passed out of exhaustion.
In London for one night only.
Circus.
Thanks, but I don't come to you for dating advice.
It's years since anyone took me to the circus.
Oh, man.
What is that? Actually, I have 3 in that name.
Oh, no.
No, I don't think so. We only booked 2.
And then I phoned back and got one for myself as well.
Oh, no. Sherlock.
Not Sherlock, behave.
We're looking for a killer who can climb, who can chin up a rope. Where else would you find that level of dexterity?
Yeah, at the circus.
Exit fees.
Ooh!
Thank God.
My God.
Yeah. That could have been bad. Where'd Sherlock go? Bah! I guess we found the murderer. Oh man, no one's paying attention to the curtain. Ooh, using the spray paint. That's clever. Oh man. MVP.
So these numbers is a cipher,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
each pair of numbers is a word.
She's...
How did you know that?
Well, 2 words have already been translated here.
Oh.
John? John, look at this.
Alright, she's on the team. Wait. That's the book. The book everyone has.
Sorry to keep you. How much do you want? Do I have it? What? Do I have the treasure? I don't understand.
Oh, no.
Chinese proverb, Mr. Holmes.
I'm not Sherlock Holmes.
Forgive me if I do not take your word for it.
But no, he that's not...
But I'm not him.
We heard it from your own mouth.
What?
I am Sherlock Holmes, and I always work alone.
Because no one else can compete with my massive intellect.
Really? That's just ridiculous.
I would prefer to make certain.
Oh, no.
I'm not Sherlock Holmes!
I don't believe you.
You should, you know.
Tuh.
Sherlock Holmes is nothing at all like him.
Yeah. But, like, at least just push her out of the way. Oh! Oh, that worked out.
Don't worry. Next date won't be like this.
John, read the room. I don't think you're getting a next date.
I have high hopes for you, Inspector. A glittering career.
I'll go where you point me.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. You have been a lot more useful than Lestrade.
A hairpin worth £9 million.
Apparently.
Why so much?
Depends who owned it.
Yeah, Emperor. Isn't that what she said? Emperor, Empress.
£9 million.
Tuh.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Without you, without your assistance,
Wait,
we did not know this man would come.
it's Moriarty, isn't it?
It's Sherlock Holmes. I will not reveal your identity.
I am certain. Uh-oh! I saw that! Oh, boy. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Oh, it all ties into Moriarty. It all ties into Moriarty. Oh, man, oh, man. Gemma Chan played Sulin. I swear I've heard that name before. It may be... Was she in The Waters of Mars? The Doctor Who episode, The Waters of Mars? Was she one of them? She does look familiar. I think that was her. It helps that I just watched that, like, I don't know, a week or so ago. Because we rewatched the episode with Dad. Yeah, that definitely... That looked like her, so... Man, these episodes, I'm loving them. They're basically movies, which I kind of like, actually. You know? Alright. Oh, excuse me. Oi. Okay. I like that there is sort of an overarching story with Moriarty. Because that's the thing, is that, you know, I was kind of thinking, like, oh man, it would be kind of interesting to, like, come back to this and, you know, figure out, like, do more with Shan. It was Shan, wasn't it? I don't see her name on these particular credits. Oh well. So it was cool to, you know, it would have been cool if we actually, like, got a bit more with Shan or with you know, the Black Lotus. But I was kind of thinking, like, through this, it's kind of an issue, you know. Obviously, I don't know what happens in this show, but I know how many episodes this is. So we really can't, like... I don't know. Maybe we could come back to the Black Lotus, but I don't know. I kind of doubt it. So I imagine we're just going to keep moving on. Now, that being said, you know, even though we can't... I would imagine we're not going to do anything else with the Black Lotus. And of course, you know, these are all, you know, based on the books. So I don't know if the Black Lotus comes back in any of the books. But it is at least good that there is sort of this continuing storyline going on with Moriarty, you know? Even though it's like, okay, Moriarty doesn't really have any involvement with the Black Lotus itself, as with the only exception being he did, you know, help them get in, basically. Help them get into London. So, yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and go over the notes. I don't know how long this discussion is going to be, because even though I actually wrote down a decent amount of notes for this episode, but I think I'm actually going to cross some of these off as we go through. I'm not going to talk about every last note I took. So, yeah. The first thing that I wrote down, though, was the sword fight. So, who was this dude in the beginning that was trying to kill Sherlock Holmes, you know? This dude... I don't even know, like, how I would describe him. I guess sort of like maybe Middle Eastern sort of garb. He kind of had like a curved sword too, so it kind of reminded me, basically kind of like Persian almost, like ancient Persian sort of, you know, outfit and sword and stuff. And it's like, he's just in their flat. He's just in their flats attacking, and it's like, what? Why? I don't get that, but And they even said, I think Watson mentions, like, oh, he was working on something. He was working on something, and he was like, oh, well, I sent them a message, you know? I sent those people a message, and then, you know, that's when, you know, it showed him beating the guy. So I thought that was weird. I thought that was a little weird. So, yeah. But it was interesting, you know? It was definitely fun. Let's see. I wrote down money, the sort of money troubles that Watson was having at the beginning. Which, that's the thing, is that Sherlock doesn't really seem to have money issues. He seems to be pretty fine. Or at least he's unconcerned about it, whereas Watson is a bit more concerned about money. And I like at the beginning when he's having trouble with the self-checkout. That is funny. I don't know. I've never really had trouble with self-checkout, but I haven't had to, like, I get, you know, there are some items you can't, I don't think you can, you know, put every item through the self-checkout, you know? So I can understand if you're not ready for it. It's a little frustrating. And then it didn't accept his card. And when he's like saying, it's like, all right, you can lower your voice a bit. And he's kind of like yelling at it. It's like, I get that. Anytime I have to go to like Walmart or something, okay, this is going to sound so dumb, but the self-checkouts at Walmart are so loud. They're so loud and talkative. And it's like, just shut the hell up. That's why I try to go to Target, man. I go to Target more than Walmart, because at Target, you just put your stuff in, and then at the only time it ever talks to you is when it gives you the receipt, and it's like, have a nice day. That's it. That's the only time it talks to you. At Walmart, these machines talk your head off, and it's annoying. It's like, shut the hell up. I'm just trying to get pills. Beside the point. Very beside the point. But that was kind of relatable. Kind of relatable at the beginning there. But yeah, that was interesting. And of course, this is, you know, it's like, oh, he's having some money troubles and stuff. And it's funny because last episode, you know, he turned down Mycroft's offer to, you know, be paid to spy on Sherlock. You know, I honestly, it's funny that Sherlock didn't mention. It's like, oh, well, if you took Mycroft's, you know, deal, you could be getting paid to spy on me, you know? Because that's pretty much what he said last episode. It's like, oh, man, you should have taken the money. You know, we need the money. So, that was funny. Although, once they got to the bank and they were offered, you know, the job, the guy did say he said 5 figures. I'm pretty sure he said 5 figures for the total. So, you know, that's at least, you know, tens of thousands of dollars right there. That's at least $10,000 right there, so that's pretty good. $10,000 on one case, basically, you know? And I would imagine they split that between Sherlock and Watson, so about $5,000 each. $5,000 for a case that lasted maybe a week? You know what? That's pretty good. It's just that they need to get into it, you know? They need to start getting into it, and then, you know, Watson's money troubles will go away. But for future incidents, it would be better if Watson just went to a person to check out his groceries instead of going to the machine, you know? Okay, so the next thing I wrote down was Van Koon and the murder, which also correlates to my next one, suicide become murder. Suicide to murder. So this is sort of a trend we have now between these first 2 episodes, at least. I don't know how often this is going to stick between these episodes, but it seems that as we start these investigations, it seems like these are just suicides at first, but then Sherlock figures out that they are actually murders. An interesting pattern, because we had that in the last episode with, it's like, okay, well, these all seem like suicides, that, you know, they're taking these pills and stuff. And then it was Sherlock that figured out, you know, through the suitcase and stuff, it's like, no, this is a serial killer. And the same was sort of here. It's like, okay, well, what was the guy's name? Dimmock. Detective Inspector Dimmock. All right. Dimmock was saying, like, both Dimmock and Watson were saying that, oh, well, these are suicides. All the evidence points to a suicide. You know, all the doors and windows were closed and stuff. Or, you know, all the doors, all the entrances were basically sealed. So, but it was Sherlock who was like, no, well, here's all the evidence that Van Koon is left-handed and he was shot in the right side of his head. You know, if you are, you know, left-handed, you're not exactly going to be doing that. You're going to be doing that. Which is an interesting to think about, and it kind of made me, like, pause and think, like, because I'm right-handed, so I was thinking, like, okay, well, if I had a gun and I could do that, and it maybe would be a little weird, but I guess if I was to kill myself with a gun for some reason, I guess more naturally I would go for my right hand, because, yeah, I am right-handed, so that was interesting. Because it's like, it's not impossible that that Van Koon did it with his right hand, but it's also not, but it's more likely he did it with his dominant hand just naturally, if it was a suicide. But that's the thing. So that was interesting, you know, seeing it's like, okay, well, it has to be a suicide, and Sherlock being like, no, he's left-handed, and that was shot on the right. There's no way, you know, he wouldn't have done that with his dominant hand. So yeah, it's just interesting, these sort of, you know, it's like, okay, suicide to murder. And I think that was the same, they said the same thing about the other guy, Lucas. Yeah. They said the same about Lucas, like, okay, well, clearly it must be a suicide. And I like Sherlock figuring out that, you know, it's like, okay, well, you know, it does look like a suicide because of how high up they are, you know? They're incredibly high up, and the same with the bank, you know, with the graffiti on there. It's like, you know, graffiti with that cipher and everything on there. It seems like, okay, well, how did they get up if they're so high up and none of the doors were open? But that just leads you to believe that this guy can climb walls, you know? And I like when Dimmock was like, oh, what, do you think this guy's like Spider-Man? And I did like that. That was a funny reference. Because, yeah, it does seem odd. It's like this dude scaling the walls in order to get in and kill someone. But that is a good way of doing it, to where the police, you know, most of the police would think that it would be a suicide. Sherlock Holmes, though, is smart enough to realize that that wouldn't be a suicide then. Water. Water is good. So that was interesting. And it's just interesting, the fact that through both of these first two episodes, it is initially seen as a bunch of suicides, and then it turns out to be murders. That was interesting. I wrote down Watson and doors. So twice, it was twice that that he was sort of left outside. The first one was at Van Koon's apartment, and the second one was at not the Lucky Cat, but Su Lin's apartment or flat. Do you guys across the pond, you UKers? First off, do you say UKers or you just say British? You probably just say British. UKers is probably not a term. Uckers. Oh my God. It'd be the most American thing if I called you Uckers. Oh my God, I'm gonna start calling you Uckers from now on. And you can call me whatever dumb term, you know, to signify that I'm a dumb American. But God, Uckers, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Hey, well, let's move on. But do you guys... I generally hear flat, but do you guys just never say apartment? Is it just flats? It has to just be flat, you know? We say apartments in America. But anyway. So yeah, both times when they went to the two flats, both times Watson was left outside, and the second time it was kind of like, oh my gosh, this happened to you again? And this is, you know, when he's getting all mad that Sherlock's not letting him in and stuff. And, meanwhile, Sherlock is getting the life choked out of him, So, that was a little weird. It's like, Watson, get in there somehow. Like, when he jumped up, grabbed the ladder, and then went up and into the window, why didn't Watson go and do the same? Like, get up there, man. Don't wait on Sherlock to let you in. Hopefully next episode he starts going through these damn doors. Okay. Which, I guess we could also say a little bit, Watson doesn't do as much as I thought he would. Like, now, granted, as the episode went on, I was starting to think, okay, well, maybe I'm over-exaggerating. He is doing things. He is helpful to this investigation and stuff. And he is helpful to Sherlock, but it's like, I don't know. I kind of thought he would be a bit more helpful. I don't know. He's kind of like, it's almost like he's more being taken along for the ride. He is contributing in some parts, but for the most part, he's just, following Sherlock's lead. Now, granted, the show is called Sherlock. This is about Sherlock Holmes, the greatest detective in fictional history. So it's like, yeah, maybe, it does make sense that Sherlock is leading a lot of this, but it's like, I thought John would do a little bit more. I don't know, maybe that's just me. And maybe it's because that a lot of times it does feel like he's just kind of going along. He's like, oh, okay, this is this new thing that you're saying, or he's being left behind a door. I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, we're gonna need to get a bit more. We're gonna need to get a bit more with. We're gonna need to get a bit more, and see if we'll actually get a bit more of Watson, being useful and helping out and stuff. So, I don't know. We'll see. I wrote down the photo. I did like that, when. He sees it, and then he goes to get Sherlock, and then they come back, and everything is gone. It's like, oh, man. He's like, can you remember? He's like spinning him around. Can you remember? Because the human memory is only 62% accurate, and it's like, I don't need to remember. I took a picture. I like that. I like that, it's just that, he wasn't able to just say, I took a picture, man. So, that was funny. I wrote down T and Su Lin. That was interesting. I like the sort of, I guess just the history of like, oh, well, these, teapots and stuff, they need to be, used basically or else they crumble. So I like that. And filling it up pretty much to complete filled and then pushing that down so it all like comes down and it all gets treated. I did like that. That was interesting. And I like that was the way to figure out that she still went there at night because she still cared about those teapots. I thought that was interesting. The Black Lotus, that was also interesting, which also I guess ties into what was his name? What was the brother's name? I don't know if it's on here. No, it's not. Damn. Oh well. I thought it was like Ji-Ju, Chi-Chu, Chi-Ju. I don't remember. It was something like, I tried to write it down, but I didn't quite catch it. And then Shan. Shen. I don't remember. So I don't remember these names. I caught Su Lin and they showed Su Lin, like on there, so I was able to write that down correct. I don't know. Sometimes I can't get these names. So yeah, that was interesting, and everything with like, okay, they're smuggling all this stuff and selling all this all these antiquities on the black market, which was interesting. So I did like that. Overall, they were all right villains, I would say. They were okay. So yeah, and it is a shame. It's like, okay, we can't get more of that. We can't get more of Shen. I don't remember. We can't get more of her and more of the Black Lotus. Black Lotus, sorry. I just get this feeling that we're not going to get more of them, but again, we still get the promise of Moriarty, so I do like that. But yeah, overall, they were all right. They were pretty good, I would say. And I wrote down the circus. That was interesting. The circus, and I feel bad for Sarah getting caught up in this. But yeah, that was interesting. The circus, and for a second, I thought they were going to kill that guy. Like, oh, maybe he's the next like target or something, and so this is their way of killing him. I just got a text message. Did I get a freaking... Oh, whatever. Not the point. Anyway, so I kind of thought that they were actually going to kill him there and you know, kind of make it look like, oh, well, it was an accident, but he did manage to make it out. And that did set up how they were going to kill Sarah later on, so that was interesting. And, of course, you know... Of course, Watson trying to go on a date, Sherlock not having any of it, and be like, no, we are working tonight. You know? It's like, fine, bring your date if you have to. So, I thought that was funny. The books being the cipher, I thought that was also pretty interesting. With them, like, you know, you find, like, okay, it's, you know, these books that everyone has, so that, you know, you can figure out the cipher, basically, and then using the numbers to, you know, find the page and find the words and stuff like that. So I thought that was interesting. I did write down Sarah. So, okay, so John basically got a job as a pediatrician, I believe. And basically on his first day, he fell asleep on the job, so Sarah covered for him. I thought he was going to lose his job, but he didn't. And instead, not only did he not lose his job, but he was also able to go on a date, basically, with one of his co-workers, which was interesting. So yeah, that was interesting. I did like that. And then I wrote down the pin. The pin was interesting, you know, this item. It's like, oh, he just stole this just because he thought it would be good, you know. He just thought this would be, you know, an interesting gift for his girlfriend, and it happened to be worth 9 million pounds, I believe they said. 9 million pounds. So yeah, that was interesting. And it's like, oh, this is like 1,000 years old, belonged to the emperor and stuff. So I did like that. And then yeah, the last thing I wrote down was basically, you know, the continuing build-up of Moriarty, which I do like. So I like that, you know, we're building up Moriarty in this. Now I'm wondering, because technically in this first season we only have one more episode, you know, because these seasons are so short, you know. So I'm wondering, are we going to get Moriarty next season, or are we going to get it next episode, basically? You know, is next episode Moriarty, or is this just an overarching thing and it will come back later in the show? I have no idea, but we'll see. We will definitely see. But yeah, that is pretty much all I wrote down for this episode. Another great episode. Really enjoyed it. Liking the mysteries here. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the next episode. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Sherlock reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.